this.
The last hoorah for Slim Shady. Well, he's retired. He's killing Slim Shady at this album. He might do other stuff as Eminem or Marshall Mathers, but Slim Shady, the alter ego that like, serial kills everybody and rapes his mother, like he's done.
Oh, yeah.
He actually likes his mom now, or he forgives his mom.
Well, that's good.
Old age softens you up.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike.
And I am Ray, of course.
And this is the Know Nothings podcast, number 58.
58, number 58. 58, feeling great. I'm in a rhyming mood today because the real Slim Shady just dropped his latest song, Houdini. Shit's a banger, right?
I love it.
Do we just love it because we're Gen X, or is it really great? It sounds.
I don't
to
know.
me, I think it's really great. But so, and you think it's really great, right? But like, I wonder if our opinion of that does it match like 25-year-old opinions or 19-year-old opinions? It should, because the bars are incredible. The writing's great, and Slim Shady win at everybody.
It's really great. It's really good. I'm looking up the lyrics right here because I was asking you what your favorite lyric was. And there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I just kind of, he just did the old Slim Shady thing where he just takes shots at everybody. Like, no one's safe. I'm gonna come at my daughter. I'm gonna come at. I think he left his mom alone, right? Because he's in the forgiving stage with his mom. If you didn't know that, like, yeah, Slim Shady's like forgiving Deborah. Was that her name? Deborah Mathers.
I have no clue. I can't remember. I grew up listening to Slim Shady, and then I grew way up.
You were an adult when Slim Shady hit, right?
Yeah, I was an adult. I was 20.
Yeah, we were young adults.
Something like that, 19. I don't know, something like that. Well, maybe a little earlier.
I call the growing up, when you grow up with something, that's like 10 to 20, 10 to 19.
Dude, growing up is like 30 to 40. You have no clue what you're fucking doing. That's the real deal growing up.
That's the actual, and
Dude, like when I was 20, I was like, what the hell was I doing? I had no clue.
I saw a great meme the other day that said it was about Gen X. It was like, Gen X, the only generation to turn 30 at 15 and still be 30 at 50. It's like we grew up too fast and then we won't grow up.
And now we won't grow up.
Yeah.
I've got, okay, so like my favorite lyric on this is, where is it? Bumping R. Kelly's favorite group, the Black Guy Peas.
The Black Guy Peas. That's
awesome.
Pretty awesome. Did he go in on Diddy at all?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
How do you not hit Diddy with this shit? Like,
I think it was already he was probly already done with it when all this.
Man, we got to go back to this. We got to go back and remaster it. I got to add in a Diddy line. You can't be.
He could have.
The diddler's out here diddling everyone.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, well, it's probably saving it for the album.
Yeah.
Isn't the album just going to be like?
It's going to be the retirement of Slim Shady. Slim Shady, the alter ego, will be dying. This is the last kind of work he's going to do. That's good. Kills that guy at 52 years old or whatever.
I mean, it's fun and it gives me something to do, but like, it's going to be funny.
He can still make art. I think it's cool that you have an alter ego. You should probably do that for all genres, because like I've always thought that, like, if you were like, say, in a death metal band, right?
Yeah.
I like death metal, but or you're in a black metal band that wears corpse paint. Do you really want to
go to Costco in the paint?
Do you really want to be singing death metal if you're 63? I don't know. It doesn't translate. I mean, I guess maybe, but like that's why I like it if bands can be a little more genre fluid, or can do a little. There's things you'd want to do as you age, or like.
Yeah, real bands can do that, but if you're locked in and you're like a famous person,
if you're like
you're doing what you do until you die, and then you're making the money.
If you're Cannibal Corpse, you're singing "Squeeze the Blood from My Broken Cock" till the end of time.
Taylor Swift, you can do a little country and then go into pop music, but she's not going to become a death metal band, or she's not going to do a rap album.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But like. Even like Metallica is a great example of doing it right. How they were thrash metal, and as they got kind of in their late 20s, they were like,
they calmed down a little bit.
They're like, what if we're just kind of a hard rock band? A lot of people hate them for that, but like as you age, I mean, I hated them for it when I was like 15, right?
Were you like one of the guys who's like, they cut off all their hair, man?
I was one of the guys when they made the Black Album.
Oh, the Black Album. The Black Album was way different than their other stuff.
I had real tears coming down. I was so mad.
You had real tears.
I was so. Metallica was my favorite. Metallica is the only band I've ever, for a moment in time, liked more than Black Sabbath in my entire life. I've had one band that I ever thought was better than Black Sabbath, and it was for 2 years, from like 1988 to 1990, 91.
Then the Black Album came out, and you were like, "Fuck those guys." I
felt so betrayed. But now I get it. Now as 47, I get it. But then I didn't. Mike, I didn't get it. I was so hurt by it because I just couldn't understand. And then my band, like all of a sudden, like My friends' little sisters were like listening to my band. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like,
Light.
yeah, they were never. No one was listening to them when they was just Kill 'Em All. They felt like they were my band. When you're a kid, it feels like it's your band, like it's your special thing.
I will tell you this though, I believe that when they did that, it helped them survive the Nirvana. Them and Guns N' Roses, and then Guns N' Roses quit making albums, but like they shouldn't have because they only survived.
The bands that made it out of that weren't hair bands. So Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Ozzy, and who else in the '80s? There's one more I'm thinking of that didn't get swept up in that and just totally pushed to the side and cast aside. Ozzy had No More Tears right when grunge broke, and Metallica had the Black Album right when grunge broke, and those were like radio friendly but rock enough that like good for the metal fans, good for the rock fans, good for the pop fans. Kind of broke both of them through to other artists, honestly.
Don't you think though that obviously the music industry people that run it were sitting around and they were like, man, we're down to the C bands here. We got to do something, and they were like, these bands out of Seattle right here, we're just gonna change the whole landscape.
I don't know that.
I think they did.
I don't know that it was. I know that once it hit, they were trying to kill hair metal. They were like, there's stories like program directors, huh?
That bangs through the.
Oh, sorry. There's stories of program directors going into like their DJ saying, all of this music can never be played. This is what you can play. It was like one day, they just flipped a switch. Well, all that hair metal mess it was so homogenized where everything looked the same. And it was non-believable at some point, right? If it's one or two bands, you could believe that one or two bands would be like glammed out and living like that. Like you could believe Poison and Motley Crue and Wasp. You could believe a few. But how are you going to believe that like every band just looks like that, right? It looks silly at some point. Like obviously this is
like this.
Yeah, obviously this is just mass-produced horse shit. And it's what it was.
Look, they've got there's Motley Crue right there, but
it did become mass-produced horse shit. Like let's be honest. It really did. It needed to die. That shit and that kind of stuff. It looks like a fad. It just can't last forever.
Yeah. Everybody wasn't walking around like, ooh, we're so individualistic.
Yeah.
Look at this. A lot of Motley Crue in here when you put hair metal in here.
Motley Crue is the hair. I mean,
they're so badass though compared to like what we had after
because they were the
5
real,
years
they
later.
They were the real deal, right? So once they became successful, just like when mumble rap became cool, what did everybody start doing? Now everybody's a mumble rapper, right?
Right.
Everybody's a mumble rapper. When Lil Wayne got face tattoos and was rapping, then everybody got face tattoos and rap. Man, I think after a couple years, people just see through that shit. It happens over and over. It happens with boy bands. It happened with hair metal. It happened with hip hop. It happens with. I mean, right now, think about the hip hop landscape. There's very, very few original artists. Except there's like Mexican OT. I don't know if you heard Mexican OT.
No, I haven't been listening to any rap music.
Dude, straight fire. He's so fucking good.
Eminem's new.
But he sounds so good. You know why he sounds so good?
I listen to a lot of Tupac.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I'm talking about new artists.
I know, but I'm just saying I don't listen to a lot of stuff
Mexican
anymore.
OT sounds so good though?
No,
because he sounds.
I don't know
because he sounds authentic, and he doesn't have he's not using a style that everybody's using. He's not singing. He's not rapping about the same things that everybody else is, with the same production that everybody else is using, with the same kind of mumble rap delivery that everyone. So it's unique, and when you're unique, you're going to stand. When you're unique on purpose, if you're trying to fake being unique. It just, I think I saw it with new metal too. You had, you had 100%. Korn, and then you had Deftones. You had all these bands that were kind of badass, right? They were great. You had System of a Down. Then all of a sudden, everyone is a new metal band. Like everyone's dressing like that. Everyone looks like that. It just becomes. I can't think of you can name a decade. I mean, disco. It happened to disco, right? It even happened to like hard rock in the 70s, where everything. Oh, we're just some good old boys with jeans and guitars. And now everybody, even if you're like the most slick management hand-chosen band, they're going to put you in like, put on the old denim like Deep Purple and Black Sabbath and those in old shirts and just be, and everybody looks like they're garage mechanics. Right. It doesn't look authentic though because you can't pull it off because you're not really that. Almost I would say every popular trend at some point dies by its own. It like invents itself. Everyone copies it. And at some point, like you said, when you're down to the C-level bands, At some point, after you're copied 1,000 times, well, what's next for the next 1,000 people? They're just copying the copycats.
Right.
Now it really looks, no one cares. And so usually stuff gets. How long did hair metal get? About 5 years, 6?
Oh no,
6 years.
Really?
About 84 to 90.
84. Yeah, okay.
About 84 to 90. Grunge got 91 to 97.
Yeah,
They were done.
They did good.
New metal got 98 to 06. They were done.
Yeah.
Not done, but pretty. I mean, it's
Pretty much.
Mumble rap got 2015 to 2023. It's done.
Maybe a little earlier.
2000. Yeah, I can't do it. I was going to try to do it, but I was trying to say, well, they sound like this, but
Don't embarrass yourself.
I mean, it's embarrassing if you do it right.
It's embarrassing if you do it right.
But not the first couple of dudes. The first couple of dudes that do it, it was like, oh, this is cool, or this sounds good, or this is so unique or interesting.
Right.
But not
Mumble rap has a lot to do with how awesome the beats are produced, though. What's up, Noah?
Yeah, but they.
And how awesome it's produced, but then
but if you're just taking,
I really enjoyed Future in the beginning, and then after all those tricks were over, I just go back and listen to the old albums.
The production's so great, right? So rappers go to same producers for same beats, right? So eventually you're just getting the same thing. So you have 100,000 songs, they all sound the same. There'll always be a new thing. That's why Mexican OT is just blowing up, because it's like, wow, this is different. It's better. You can tell he's authentic. You feel like this is a real dude.
Mm-hmm.
I think realness ends up winning the day most of the time.
Right.
Nirvana and Soundgarden were real bands, right? With real integrity and really are grunge, right? Motley Crue and Van Halen were really great bands, but they birthed a lot of copycats that weren't as great by a long shot.
I think
Poison was
okay,
Poison
but we know your favorite band is obviously one of my favorite bands is the Deftones, just because of Chino Moreno.
He's a really great band. They're at least in my top.
His vocal
50, 40
is
30.
incredible.
Yeah, they're great.
And I judge a band by how they make me feel, and I got caught in this post-hardcore gent music because of the way that you would do all the hard, a hard verse, and then in the chorus it just opens up and gives you the thing that Deftones did. So they took that and put it, it's the payoff. So you're I'm waiting for the thing, and then boom, it gives you the thing. So then you have 1,000 songs that sound exactly like that. And I listened to that for probably 5 years straight, and was just, and then one day I was just I can't do this anymore. I can't listen to the same shit over. I couldn't even name you four or five bands, their names.
You just liked
I just liked the sound.
Just liked the sound. Yeah.
And what's bad about,
I was totally like that with new metal. There was a bunch of I'd go to festivals even, and I would watch 9 bands in a row, and it would all kind of be the same experience for me, an experience I enjoyed immensely. Yeah. But it would just kind of all be the same experience, right?
But I would and then these Spotify feeds that fire, because they go, you click the band you like, and then it just gives you all the copycat bands, and you're just oh, these are great, and then you're just stuck in that loop.
Yeah, you don't even know the bands. Yeah.
And so there's other weird music that I really like. There are bands that I like, but I don't listen to a lot or all the time. But old guy Tom Waits, I love Tom Waits. Yeah, it sounds like a demented circus, his music and stuff. But it's not something that I jump in the car. It's like a mood.
But when it plays, it feels authentic. That's also the music that lasts are the authentic ones, right?
But you also listen to Tom Waits and you're like, how did he get his break with this shit? Because he's like, Uncle Berlin is a run on a corner for nights, and he's just it's so fucking crazy. It is there's a chain in the background getting dropped on the ground as the beat, and it's just it's art.
If you're doing your, Frank Zappa. If you're doing your thing, and people kind of gravitate to your thing, it's nobody. No, if you'd have told people in 1985 that Metallica was going to be the biggest band, nobody would believe you. It's hard to remember, but there was a time in 1986, 85, 87, nobody really knew who Metallica was, except these dirty dirtbag Metallica.
I think you're right.
I know that I'm right.
I know that if nobody was going to church wearing a Metallica shirt, I can tell you that.
Nobody was going anywhere wearing them, right? If the only place you saw them would be at an underground show, or if you went to now they were playing big shows with big bands at that point as an opener, but your average teenager in 1985, they'll say they were now, or even 88, 89. They'll say they were now, but I'm telling you, I didn't know anyone in school my entire like middle school or until the Black Album. Sorry,
you're just hitting the thing. It's just like
until the Black Album. I didn't know one person that listened to Metallica.
Okay, so here's the thing. I grew up in Virginia,
Right.
outside of D.C., in the Shenandoah Valley, and we listened to in the early '90s. Before I moved here in like '93,
Hip-hop, probably right.
yeah, we listened to hip hop.
Yeah.
We listened to, and if you listen to Guns N' Roses or Metallica, you're a dirty, dirty person, and people like made fun of you. So like, if you didn't listen to like Shy or A Tribe Called Quest or Black Sheep or like all of these bands that were coming out of like New York and the East Coast in the early '90s, if you listen to Metallica and shit, everybody made fun of you. But then like Nirvana came out, and I was like, man, I really dig this shit. And then people were like, you listen to that shit? And I was like, yeah, I love it. And then I moved. I got to move away from those people and start playing guitar.
If you'd listened to Metallica, then you'd have been like, holy shit, I love this. Is incredible.
Oh, I started though because like I would go into my aunt's house.
And then Justice for All, and you would have been a total fan.
My aunt's house that lived in DC. I would go. She had MTV. We didn't have MTV in the Shenandoah Valley.
You wanted your MTV,
but I wanted my MTV. But I would go there, and this is all that was playing on MTV at this moment, where I would go in the basement and watch it. You guess the year. You ready?
Yeah.
Enter Sandman. Smells Like Teen Spirit.
1991.
Yeah. 1991. Yeah. That's it. Enter Sandman, Smells Like Teen Spirit. When you were young and your heart was an open book. You know, like all the Guns N' Roses, Live and Let Die. All that was on MTV at that moment.
Mom Coming Home was huge. Then on same year.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I remember that too.
All the time.
That was awesome. I just remember watching all those, and I really
Red Hot Chili
Under the Bridge,
91.
That backwards.
Pearl Jam, Jeremy was all the time.
Oh, Pearl Jam, Jeremy, all that. So like that's when I got away from like listening to like that East Coast like R&B hip hop stuff.
Yeah. And
started listening to all that, and then I moved to Ruston, Louisiana, to Cedar Creek. Which was a culture shock.
And nobody probably even heard of Nirvana. Well, you were in junior high by the 7th grade or something?
8th grade.
8th grade.
I moved in the 8th grade.
You came in 92, then I was in 10th.
Yeah. It was the middle of the year, too, like how they shuffle you in. Here I come, getting shuffled in. 8-ball jacket.
To the private school. North Louisiana.
8-ball jacket. Nothing but silk shirts, khakis, and an 8-ball jacket. Because I'm listening, like I had my lifestyle had been styled around the music I had just got done listening to, and that was all in my closet, which was like how every single R&B,
Jodeci and stuff?
Jodeci. That's exactly it. It's like how do we dress like Jodeci when we're in the 8th grade?
As an 80s metalhead kid, dirtbag.
I think I gave a Jodeci tape to some girl at Cedar Creek, and I freaked her out because it was too like it was way too grown up.
Here's what I'm trying to figure out. As a dirtbag metalhead kid from the 80s. And I always try, I still wore like khakis and stuff. I wore jeans and metal shirts, and I still wore khakis and polos because it's the area. And I was also convinced that like, I thought everybody else was a little crazy. I was like, you don't have to always be a dirtbag to enjoy this music. You could probably enjoy this music and like sometimes put on regular clothes or take a bath, right? Like, but anyway, so we like me and my buddies, I started getting them into some of them into it. And we would hang out, and you would raise hell and drink beer and listen to like Metallica or Sabbath together. Here's what I want to know, because I don't know. I'll let you answer that, because I really want to know. How do a group of teenage boys hang out together and jam something like Jodeci and think that they're somehow taking the moral high ground on what fucking tough, cool, or manliness is? I know. I have to know.
Well, we did throw some Shabba Ranks in there, and he was a pretty tough, big dude. So.
And we're listening to like R&B, like smooth, sex you up R&B with a bunch of other 13-year-old dudes. Like, oh yeah, you listen to guitar music so stupid. This here you want to dance?
No, like listen. I came to that realization, and
like Color Me Bad
people
and
wanted
shit?
to. Color Me Bad, MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice. Like people wanted to like beat me up when I was like, "Hey man, I'm really digging this Nirvana," and they were just like, "I'm gonna kick your ass." And I was like, "What?" And I'm also talking about like I hung out with like high school kids too, and I was in the 8th grade there. 7th and 8th grade there, and they were like, I'm gonna kick your ass. You listen to that bullshit.
Kick your ass because now I can't keep grooming you where I can later have homosexual sex with you to this Jodeci. So you better get your shit together a little bit.
Casey, sing it. Casey, sing it.
Did you really? Did you enjoyed that? I guess everybody likes it. You really liked it, or you just liked it because your friends liked it?
I liked it because it's all that was available.
Like I liked,
and it made me popular to listen to it.
I liked what I liked, and nobody.
Dude, you gotta
think.
You gotta go back. You gotta go back to thinking about being a 11, 12-year-old.
I'm saying,
and you're just doing what you're doing to fit in. Well, you didn't, obviously.
I have a whole different story. Like I have a whole different.
I changed later.
Yeah.
I changed later when I obviously figured out that I didn't fit in. Then I was like, "Fuck it."
I figured out early. I didn't give a fuck. Like I do. I'll tell the truth about me.
I figured it out at Cedar Creek.
Yeah.
Because I did not. I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in there, or I didn't really fit in anywhere. I just wanted. I don't know.
And that's okay.
But everybody liked me.
Same.
That's the problem. Everybody liked me. I wasn't. I run around all the cliques.
I always enjoyed, and I still enjoy. I always enjoyed telling stories and engaging people and making people laugh. So I did it, and especially as a kid, elementary, junior high, high school. I loved to just make people laugh or tell stories or fuck with people or whatever it was to entertain people. I wanted the attention, right? Obviously, you do that because you want the attention, and I enjoyed making people happy. So in that aspect, I did. I guess you'd say give a fuck what people thought about it because I wanted people to have a good time around me. That was truly, I wanted to have fun. Sometimes I crossed the line, fuck with people, and it ventured into mean. But so I guess this much I did care. But as far as like what I was listening to, what I was dressing, how I was talking, who my parents were, who your parents were, who has this money, who had that, I never gave a fuck about any of that shit.
Right.
Never, ever, ever. That's the truth. But I did care that. I did want to make people laugh, and I did want to be the most entertaining person in the room. That was like something I would like give extra attention to. You the same way, right? Like you want to, you when you're a kid, you want to put on a show because you get laughs. And you
I
like
always
that.
did.
Yeah.
I was gonna be a Canadian.
But
that's what I told everybody. Like I was trying to say comedian when I was little because I would do like Robin Williams acts and stuff in front of everybody when they were at the house, and I was like, I want to be a Canadian, but I meant comedian.
But I felt from like I don't know what age. I'm not gonna lie and say 4 or 7 or 9. I don't know. But my whole life, I always felt like, man, I just see things a little different. I just am a little different. I like things that are a little bit different. But I can still homogenize into these groups. I can still coexist in these groups. I'm just not really like everybody else. I have some interests that are like middle America interests, right? Like I love high school football. I love sports. I love boxing, So those types of things, like, I guess, give me enough, like, middle America. I love Copenhagen.
Yeah.
I love cold
beer.
I
love Copenhagen. I don't do it, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Copenhagen, Marlboro Lights,
I love Marlboro Lights.
I
love Glenlivet.
But I felt like just music and, like, worldview and, just everything, the way they thought about things, the way they would say things, their view on authority versus my view on authority. Like I never trusted authority. I never trusted people. I never liked cops.
Well, here's the thing about me. Like when everybody's like, "Oh man, you need to watch this show. You need to listen to this person. You need to do this," and I'd go the opposite way just because I don't want. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm just like, I don't give a fuck if you like it. If everybody likes it, then I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'm a hater.
Like in junior high and stuff, I would automatically assume, like without even hearing something, like, oh, if everybody's listening, to
I picked that up
Baby,
later.
I hate it.
I picked that up.
I know
later.
I don't like Ice Ice Baby. I don't even have to hear it. And which you have to admit it's a good tune because it's Under Pressure. It's a great tune. Now,
hey, my girlfriend in this 8th grade in Virginia bought me Vanilla Ice's tape. Thank you very much. I listened to it a lot. Thank you.
That was very
I
sweet.
don't remember
What was her name?
who you are. but I remember you bought it for me.
But you remember you got that Rob Van Winkle tape.
I got that tape.
Knocked the shit out of it.
I did.
There was no escaping that, even though like at that, and I think I was in 7th or 8th grade when Ice Ice Baby came out. And and I was like, hell no, I don't want to hear that shit. Even if you tried to not hear it, you were hearing it.
Yeah, you were hearing it.
And eventually you're gonna start being like, no.
The other thing that you heard constantly when it came out, was it before or after this? Was "Baby Got Back" by Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah, I like that one.
My poor mother
bought that single.
I bought that single. It had Cake Boy on the back.
Yeah,
remember Cake Boy? He's in a yellow Camaro.
I remember he had My Testarossa on that now. My Testa. Hey man, he was really.
Wait, hold on now. Let's figure some regional stuff out.
Okay.
I bought this. I bought the single. You know, remember you get the single with the sleeve?
Yeah, little tape.
And it had like a cardboard sleeve, one on the front, one on the back.
A-side, B-side.
Okay, so on Baby Got Back, the A-side was obviously Baby Got Back. The B-side was Cake Boy?
My Testarossa.
No, see, on mine it was Cake Boy.
Could be Mandela Effect.
Or it could just be regional. Like I bought that up in
DC.
In DC. So
Cake Boy was obviously about ass too, right?
Well, Cake Boy was making fun of like
they not
a
calling
soft
ass cake back then?
No, it was like a soft dude. He was like, he's in a yellow Camaro, skin so smooth.
Yeah,
he's from the funny school. You know, like stuff like that. So like,
it's a diss track about.
Is a diss track
white boys,
about
I'm guessing,
maybe white boys,
or
just soft guys that weren't hard. Like Sir Mix-a-Lot was hard.
Yeah, right.
But my poor mother. This is the whole point of it. Is my poor mother. I buy this. She buys it. It's like I don't know what it was. Here's the other thing. Remember, I've always talked about how I couldn't listen to like all that music.
Yeah.
So, but here I am listening to like Jodeci,
and no problem.
No problem. Listen,
sweet.
Because I'm listening to and then I'm listening to a song about big butts, and it's funny.
Yeah.
So no problem. No problem.
Not just big butts.
Not just big butts.
But
to prove a point, me and my mom would drive to Ohio every year to see her mother, and my grandmother and my grandfather that lived in Ohio. We would drive every summer up there, and one summer was the summer that Baby Got Back came out. I got the single. We probably listened to that song 200 times on that single on the way up to Ohio from Virginia, which is like a 6-hour drive.
You and your mom?
Me and my mom. My mom probably knows every word to Baby Got Back.
I think everyone under 75 knows every word to Baby Got Back, right? Like, I mean, it was so. I mean, maybe it's just because it hit me like in high school. It was just everywhere. That was like Ice Ice Baby. You could not get away from Baby. Every dance they were playing it. 10 times at the dance.
Hey, I don't want none unless you got buns, hon.
Yeah, it was a great song.
Really, it is a great song. It's a great song.
If you wrote it right now, it'd be a hit.
There's no problem. There's no problem with that. But when
Ozzy
wanted to sing about his mom or he's coming home, then that's a problem.
That's always the misconception about. I remember having this discussion with my mom when I got suspended a bunch, and so when I was getting suspended, she was taking all my posters down and stuff, and I was like, she's like, oh, this is the influence. And that happened a couple times where I had to strip down to bare walls because it was apparently, that was maybe doing something.
Yeah.
But I was trying to tell, I was like, you have a problem with like Creeping Death? This is a song on Ride the Lightning, and she's like, oh, that's it. That's that kind of evil shit. I was like, but that's a song about a Bible verse. It's a Bible verse song, but no one would ever listen to it. Metal just looked mean, so everybody just had all these
and
songs.
Tough.
Oh God. What did somebody say the other day? I heard a great quote on that the other day. It was like, oh yeah, I know what it was. So hippies are cosplaying. Hippies are assholes cosplaying as nice guys. Metalheads are nice guys cosplaying as assholes.
That's always been it. That's all. Like every metal dude you meet, he's like, oh man, he's like a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks they're just cosplaying as a mean person when they're really a nice person.
Have I ever told you my story about the lead singer of a death metal band called Prophecy? Have I ever told you that story before? So
let's hear it.
So Prophecy is a death metal band. If anybody's death metal fans out there, they'll know who Prophecy is. So I was going to see them one day in Dallas. So I'm in the show and the opener's playing. All of a sudden, I look to my right, and it's the lead singer. And forgive me, I don't remember his name, but it's the lead singer. Clearly, it was him. He's like, and I was like, oh shit, and he's just from this death metal band, right? Like, and I'm young, I'm like 19, 20 maybe. Anyway, and he goes, hey, what's going on, man? And I was like, hey, what's up, dude? You know, I'm trying to be cool or whatever. He's like, just starts talking, blah, blah, blah. He's like, gosh, he's like, and he said, I remember he said these words. He was like, gosh, I sure could use some pizza. Do you like pizza? He looks at me and goes, do you like pizza? And I was like, of course I like. He goes, yeah, bro, let's go get some pizza.
Oh my God.
So we go down. So there we are. Me and the lead singer, Propsy, were walking like next door to the bar to get pizza. And the whole time, this dude talked about the Chicago Cubs.
Oh my God.
We went and
that's
got
awesome.
I remember two things from the interaction. Going to get the pizza. When we get the pizza, him being so excited because he goes, hey man, they've got ranch dressing too. You like ranch dressing on your pizza? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh man, I fucking love ranch dressing on my pizza. It was like
Is this them?
I think so. Yeah. It was that guy. So,
He loves, maybe, here's the thing though, you know, like all that pedophile shit about pizza. Maybe he was trying to groom you with pizza.
I did not think so. This was the nicest, kindest, gentlest man you've ever. And so it was just like the whole time. It was just like a 10-minute interaction. Right? We walked.
Here's a real serious picture of him. I think.
We walked 2 doors down, and got the pizza. He ate the ranch dressing, and he talked about baseball. It's like, oh gosh, yeah. So he nerded out on baseball for like the whole time he was eating. And I was like, this is nothing like I thought this guy would be. I thought he was going to like try to stab me or be like,
well, they're just people.
yes.
Everybody's just people. And like how you what guitar pedal you use with your guitar and amp doesn't make you like a certain person.
This is almost 30 years ago, right? Or 25 years ago. So just a different of how is this person going to be? Because you think, I mean, I don't know what I thought. Like he's going to be just like
right.
like really that character. Be like, I've come to fucking take your carcass. You know?
I've come to kill you and take your soul to hell with my guitar licks.
Yes. Because, death metal's really just horror book. They're just horror book nerds, is what you figure out.
Yeah.
They're comic book nerds.
Comic book nerds.
So it's just like, hey, what's up, bud? So it's just, it's comic book written to these insane themes. But yeah, they're just cosplaying as assholes. They're actually like the nicest.
I've always, except for that one band that killed people. Except for that one Mayhem. Except for them,
so their lead singer killed himself.
Oh,
and they took the fragments of his skull and made necklaces, and they took a picture of his dead body where he shot himself and made that the album cover.
Oh my God. Yeah, see, that's what you should probably stay away from.
Yeah, those aren't good.
What's up, yo? Coming in the house, in the studio.
Yeah, those are Mayhem were not good people.
No.
And you had Burzum who burned all the churches.
Was the music any good?
I like some Mayhem.
Yeah.
Mayhem's the interview I told you about. Remember when I told you that the guy did the interview and he was like, remember when the guy interviewed Mayhem, I thought I could pull it up because we had the internet, and he's like, we are Mayhem, the best metal band around. You don't like it? Fuck you. Anybody got some shit to say about Mayhem? Fuck you. The interviewer's like, so any ideas on a new album? Fuck you. Like, it's the worst or best interview of all time. The interview with he just walks away. He walks away after like 3 minutes of trying to interview him because the interview goes nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do that interview real quick. So, what are your thoughts?
We're Mayhem.
Okay, yeah.
The best metal band around.
We know you're Mayhem.
You don't like it?
No.
Fuck you.
Okay, well, on your song Dead and Corpses.
We're not talking about corpses. Fuck you. You want to talk about my dead band? Fuck off. You.
Okay, so like, what do you tune your guitars to?
That was the interview. That was really it.
That's awesome.
He answered no questions. He basically just said,
isn't that the best way to actually just do an interview? It would just be like every time he asks you something, you're just like, fuck you. Fuck off.
The best is him just declaring, we're Mayhem, the greatest metal band in the world. You don't like it? Fuck you.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. I think it's
There's
brilliant.
people out there, I know, if there's more than 16 views, there's people out there that'll know exactly the interview I'm talking about. So it's Sam Dunn.
Well, we'll have to throw it on TikTok and see how many people listen to Mayhem that watch TikTok, which probably isn't a lot.
Who does what now? What happened?
We'll put it on We'll put it on a clip on TikTok and see how many people like mayhem on TikTok.
We hit back on like 5 or 10,000 on a couple the other day, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or not the other day, I guess. Like
well, it was a while ago.
I
don't really focus on. I'm not really focusing on the internet right now.
Yeah, I know.
I don't
just
really,
like release your music into the ether. We release our podcast. Into the ether.
And I don't promote. I don't do anything. I don't care. And I don't care because I just like doing this. I mean, if I wanted to promote it, I'll promote it.
Like I was talking
Should we promote it?
I mean, before we started filming, I was like, sometimes people watch it, sometimes people don't. Sometimes we get 1,000 views, sometimes we get none. Sometimes we get 250,000 on a TikTok. Sometimes we get 250.
Right.
But whatever it is, we do it because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, a lot of people will watch it, and that'll be cool. But doing it because you enjoyed it, if nothing else, there's a couple hundred hours of us on the internet just talking shit. So
yeah, I know.
Worth something when you're dead, maybe.
Yep.
Washing dishes, cracking ice over here.
We need to get a studio, Ray. Yeah. So if anybody would like to give us a couple $1,000 on our Venmo to get a studio going.
I think we're gonna need more than a couple thousand. We got to get a building. We have to secure a whole building.
No, all I need is $5. I'm gonna buy like one of those $5,000 buildings, put it out back. We'll set all this shit up. I got the recording studio out there. Which, by the way, I recorded your son's band's newest song. I'm recording it in the middle of it.
So far, it's
really good.
Guitar,
Morning
drums,
Moon,
right?
Guitar, drums. I did the bass on it. I've got like 2 versions of the bass.
Oh, you can get producer credits and performance credits. So if this one blows up, you can make like $87.
I'll make $1. No, I don't care about any of that. Their bass player's not here. I obviously play everything, and I'm awesome at everything.
Incredible.
I'm incredible at the bass, the guitar, singing, producing, recording. I'm good at the male organ. I'm really good at everything that you could possibly be good at in music, and that's why I'm so. That's why everybody knows who I am, and I'm so successful.
That's really not. That's really. It's hyperbole, but it's not. It's actually all true. He was saying it kind of self-deprecating, but it's actually all true. He is those things, but there's a million people like you though.
There's a million people like me that can play drums, guitar. I can play I write all my music, play everything. Where you're sitting right now, I just disassembled an entire electronic drum kit and put it over there. So and we were I was playing the drums and recording some stuff for myself.
When are y'all doing the vocals?
I don't know. I've got the bass. Here's the really cool part about the new song.
It's a badass song.
It's a good song, and it's Morning Moon. Go check them out on
all of them.
Maybe
everything. Not Spotify, because Spotify's kind of being.
Are they?
Yeah, they're just kind of dicks. They don't pay. They don't pay people shit. And then you saw what the CEO came out and said.
Watch it on YouTube. Then they pay good because they paid me good. Yeah. YouTube pays me good.
Yeah.
When it comes to my music, like whenever I see that like people because they force you to watch a video before you watch the video, right? Mm-hmm. So like you get like 2 cents every time or something like that.
2 cents a stream because Spotify's like
or something like that.
3/100.
It's 0.005 to 0.007 cents.
I think Spotify's 1,000 streams for $1.
Oh really?
And you know how hard it is to get 1,000 people to listen to your song?
Right. I had 100,000 people listening to my punk music, and I made a couple $100. I mean, I've made like $400.
You got 100,000 streams?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Off Hinkle?
Yeah, for the year.
That's
for
good.
The year. I'm really people in Australia really like punk music, and Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
100,000. So 100,000 paid you what?
I'm gonna
just off Spotify.
$300.
So 100,000, yeah, because 100,000 is 300 and a million's 3,000, I think.
Yeah, so like $300. But there's other things that I got paid off of, like YouTube and what else? iTunes pays not bad. I had actually somebody buy one of my songs off. It was probably my mother. She probably bought that song. It was you bought it off of iTunes. Who buys anything off of iTunes anymore? No one.
Me when it's Hinkler more than Moon. That's the only. I don't even have. It's the only reason I go there.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that a lot.
I'm there to give you the $1.
Yeah, right. No, but I sit here and I
you get 9 cents, right? Ours
ditties.
gets 10%, right?
What?
You get 9 cents off of it, right? Off iTunes.
When you buy something,
you buy 9 cents.
Yeah, I've got it set at 99 cents, so I don't know what I make.
90, you get 9.
Oh, really? Good Lord, are you serious? That's fucking stupid.
That's a standard record deal.
I don't
If you
know.
signed with Sony tomorrow, when you were signed with Warner Brothers, you were going to get y'all were going to get 12% max, 8 to 12.
We had our own. When I signed
Divided
with
by
Warner
4.
Brothers, we had our own publishing deal. That we had our own publishing company though, and we got all our own publishing. So that was like, and when that happens, obviously the band
you were
gets.
going to get
We get 100% of the publishing. So like the band gets the money, and the funny thing about that is like, back in the day when you had a band and the lead singer was writing all the lyrics, the lead singer is the first guy that could afford to buy his own bus to travel in and everything because he got like double because
quadruple if
he
you're right.
he got money for music and lyrics,
Performance credits and
everything.
songwriting.
Yeah, and songwriting.
That's the publishing. Yeah,
And so like he gets his bus first.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of. And then most times lead singers won't even share it with the other guys. Like,
No,
this is my bus.
never.
Yeah,
Never. No,
you got to get your own bus.
The other thing is like established
make it the
bands
bus
that kind of
level yet.
we didn't make it to the
Yeah.
bus level. We didn't make it to the bus level.
Those $2 million buses. You know how much it costs for a tour bus a day? Do you know
Not
what they
much.
cost? $2,500
Well,
to have a tour bus for one day.
well, here's the thing about that. Like, I don't know about
One of
now.
those badass
I don't
tour
know
buses.
about now, but back then there was like there's a company that does everything, and basically the guy that drove the tour bus was like your manager as far as like getting you to and
Where you're
fro.
going to be, where we're going to
And
stop.
he was like the guy that like kicked your ass to get you in the bus, the driver. And this is before ELDs and stuff. So I'm really for electronic logging devices for
Yeah.
people that don't know anything about.
so they could drive over 14 hours.
Yeah,
and
so like they would be the ones that you really listen to get you in the bus and to your next gig the next day or
Well, I
the
imagine
day
it's
after.
still like that for bands. Most
But-
bands don't going to have a
but-
road manager with them. Like, not yet. Not until you get really big, before you have like a dude that they can pay to travel with you.
Well, I'm talking about that level.
Yeah.
But like
They'll use that
when
tour
when you're using the tour bus, people they like configurations of the buses that like this is how many people sleep here. Here's a
Yeah, it's
lounge
like
area in the
16
back.
beds,
Here's
right, like
this,
little bunks,
yeah.
yeah.
And they're little tiny bunks. And I've been in a few famous people's buses like
They're
that,
super nice.
and they're all right. They're not.
Some of them are super
they're nice if you own your own. One of the I went to Camden, New Jersey back a while ago. I was invited to go, and I was backstage with the band, and I went in their bus. But their drummer had his own bus because he had his family going with him, and the drummer had his whole family in their own bus.
So that's $2,500 a day for the drummer.
Yeah. So
So you got there's
hey,
just
that
not
was
as
a
much
cool. That
money
was
left.
a cool thing because I met like Ice-T.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I met Ice-T.
How long ago was that? He seems like a
Oh
great
God,
dude.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was
Oh, this is
2008.
I thought you said a little while. I thought it was like recently.
This is like 2007, 2008. This is Camden, New Jersey. No, this is when I'm sitting in the bus of this band, and I'm like, hey man, let me get a water, and the guy's like, here, and he hands me a Monster Energy drink, and I was like, I don't want this shit. I don't drink. It was Monster Energy tour.
Yeah.
So and this is when Korn was playing and Korn was the headliner of this huge tour. So like I'm in this bus and he hands me a Monster Energy drink. I'm like, I don't want this shit. And he goes, just drink it. And I'm like, I don't want this. I want some water. You got some water in here? He's like, just drink it. And I'm like, I don't want it. And he goes, motherfucker, if you don't drink this, I'm kicking you off our bus. And I was like, okay. And so I'm like, why is this guy like being
Monsters
sponsoring the tour? And so like I crack it open and I take a sip and I'm like, and he looks at me and he smiles. He's like looking at me like this. And I go, what is this? And he's like, it's water.
You never
I'm
had
like,
water
what?
before, bro?
I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. He's like, Monster Energy, when we go on stage, we have to have like a Monster Energy, but they don't want us drinking Monster Energy like at 100-degree weather all day and exerting ourselves on stage.
Yeah.
So they bottle it as water. You know, and I was like,
That's what I was thinking. As soon as you
that's when I lost like all my faith in like advertising and everything. I was like, Monster Energy drink doesn't even want you drinking their product if you're like exerting yourself. Like that's crazy, and it was water. So like every time,
they don't be liable for an artist having a heart attack, Mike.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, but what I'm saying is like they bottle it. It doesn't even say water on it. It's just Monster Energy and it has water in it.
Yeah, because
but have you ever like drank something? Obviously, you drank something.
The first time I had Liquid Death,
and
which
you
is just
did,
water.
It
for liquid
throws you off.
It looks like bad. You're like,
it throws you off.
I thought it was an energy drink the first time I drank Liquid Death.
So it like freaked you out.
Like, cool
That's
can, Liquid Death.
That is exactly what happened to me when I took that sip, and I was like, "What is this?" Because I had no clue what it was. Because my body was like
expecting the carbonation.
Yeah, carbonation
and
and
monster. Yeah.
So like they go on stage and like in their contracts to play on this thing, they all have to have like a Monster Energy drink.
Well, yeah. If you owned a company and you're fronting like $2 million for these jackasses to play music on your tour, right?
Yeah.
And
right.
you're paying for really all their tour buses and all their shit. You got Mike Hinkle's energy drink signs up. You're gonna do everything you can to brand that. Like,
right.
Yes, clearly.
So like the lead. So that no, it gets a little deeper. So like everybody has like a cracked drink and put on their amp.
There's 4 monsters
somewhere.
up there at all times.
And then the lead singer has to like crack one and take a sip and like set it down, and then your contract is like fulfilled.
Because you have to at least do that. Everyone has to have one on their amp for decorate. The lead singer has to open one on stage, take a sip, and put it in. Then that's part of your contract. Yeah.
That's also.
I would do that to play.
That's also the same time. Oh, of course. Oh, it's in the contract. Yeah. Of course. And like the.
That's not what I would be like. That's not selling out. Like
selling out.
Like, there's people that. There's totally a whole movement of people that would like the whole punk movement. Would that's how they would feel, like the whole
but they wouldn't be playing in Camden, New Jersey in front of 100,000 people.
I know, that's why I've always thought that shit's so stupid. Like, yeah, I don't believe in selling out, but like selling out's like changing your style because the record label tells you to wear a suit or something. Like
this is it. I'm in show business.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in front. You're letting me play in front of 50,000 people. You want me to?
$10,000?
You're gonna give me something that I crack open and take a sip of and set down. How hard is that?
Exactly.
What? And it's not even the product. It's water, bro.
Why would everyone be compliant in that?
They're even giving you water. It's not even like it's like, man, I don't like that shit. I'm not drinking it. It's like, no, it's water. Do you like water?
Yeah, if you were an act too, well, shouldn't you even be thankful for the sponsors? Like, I mean, it's probably just like a more adult perspective on it than like this.
It is.
But there's like people. There's a whole group of people on the internet that think everything's selling out.
Think about how many bands like burn their bridges because they were like, I ain't doing that shit.
Oh yeah,
I'm not doing that. And they're like, oh, well, we'll find another person that is just as good as you and has more and has just as much pull.
Now, if they start telling you, nope, you can't give us this album. You got to give us an album of songs like this, and it's got to sound more like Taylor Swift. And if you do that, then you're selling out.
That usually starts in the beginning, though.
That's
you make that decision way earlier.
Because a lot of times they say, well, we won't sign you unless you do this.
Yeah, you make that decision way earlier than. You're not going to do 2 albums and they're like, okay, guys, we need you to do circus music, and you're like,
yeah, no, not happening.
They don't do that. They do that before. They've done the research. They've got the money. They're pushing the money into you, and they're like, okay, if you do this is what we're doing.
For instance, so like when there were metal bands that were obviously always traditionally metal, and then you could just tell when the studio execs were like, seriously, put on this flannel. The ones that put it on, I was like, man, fuck off forever.
Why did you guys cut the sleeves off at least?
Like, I mean, but it's just so obviously like someone told you never dressed like that. You've been wearing like black leather and spandex for 10 years, and all of a sudden you're going to come out and be like, we're a new, more hardened. You can find a ton of that, like 90s, like metal acts from the 90s. Go look.
Oh yeah.
And you look at their pic. They all look like They all look like Nirvana.
Grunge bands.
All of a sudden, y'all are in Chuck Taylors. And
yeah, they thought that what they wore would put them in the position.
And
of
I get
being
like
a good band.
I get like being stage ready. I get like I'm totally a fan of like. Look like you're a rock star, like
you know what
like be Lemmy all the time.
You know what my favorite rock star look?
You
know what my favorite rock star look is?
What?
My favorite rock star look is suit jacket.
Yeah, those guys are
suit jacket, black shirt or white shirt.
Yeah, kind of
suit pants,
a little bit disheveled,
boots, disheveled suit.
Yeah,
like a perfect circle or whatever. I think like you're coming to work.
Yeah,
you're working. And you're like in a suit.
I kind of like whatever.
I like that.
Kind of like whatever you are. Like to me, like Tony Iommi has worn the same thing for 55 years, right?
Can I guess without not really knowing? Black jeans, black jean jacket, black shirt, necklace.
Black jeans, leather jacket.
Leather jacket or black jean jacket.
Black biker boots.
Black biker boots. That's rock star to me.
And a leather jacket with a silver cross. He's worn that for 55 years.
I've got all that.
It didn't matter.
I just need to lose 30, 40 pounds.
But it's not because he's my favorite guitar player from my favorite band. I'm saying it to say it's because he never changed with the trend. No matter what the trend. Lemmy Kilmister wore a bullet. He wore a bullet belt and fucking white Motorhead boots with a big inverted star on the front.
But maybe he started that because you see everybody do that. You see Billy Joe Armstrong from, you know.
I was talking about where Iomi's look.
Yeah, his look. Everybody. That's everybody's look because of him, I think.
Probably.
He probably started that. Like, that's the look I got. If you go in my repertoire, I've got a motorcycle black jacket with black jeans and a black shirt. That's a great
traditional look.
I've got a black jean jacket, black, like just all black with Chelsea. Black Chelsea boots. You got to have them black Chelsea boots, baby.
But would you have bought it with Kurt Cobain? If Kurt Cobain, let's say he puts that on in 93.
That would have been so awesome.
No, you wouldn't have bought it.
He should have bought it. He should have wore that shit.
It wouldn't have seemed genuine at all, right?
He was too hooked on heroin. He had to put on like a regular. He wore like T-shirts and shorts. I
know. Are you following what I'm trying to say? It's about being like who you are. Yeah. Like that's what's cool. Like if it's like Scott Weiland pulls off the suit thing because that's his style.
Right.
Right. But if somebody else does it and they never done that, it doesn't come across as authentic.
Every time I saw like a Perfect Circle play live, it was always like the who am I trying to think? What's his name in Smashing Pumpkins? Not
Corgan?
No,
Corgan?
the other guy.
I
can't even. No. You know, I can't fucking remember. I've had too much Glenn Levitt. I can't. My brain's not firing up. I'm gonna have to buy. I'm gonna have to buy that. Now I should know all of this because I mean, my brain's just having one of those moments where.
So what are you trying to say about him?
I'm just saying he wears the suit. They all wear the suit.
Yeah, he rocks it, right? It's like if the look's authentic to you, or you can change your look, you can change your style. I'm talking about where the whole thing started, the whole conversation started. I'm talking about people.
I've got it right here. James Eha.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Okay, so
if he adopted a completely different look because of a trend, you would notice that.
James Eha shows up everywhere where he plays. If he played in a Perfect Circle, which was awesome. I was front row for that in Atlanta that one time, and he just awesome. They played like some kind of like they just like improvised and played something, and James Eha like he was on like a keyboard and the guitar at the same time, and he like picks up the guitar and he just like pumpkins up a song like, and I was just like and I was right in front of him, and I was like and he was doing it in a suit, and I think that's just so fucking cool. I think the suit's cool as shit.
For sure. I'm talking about specifically changing for a certain, like if you were wearing jeans and t-shirts in the 60s and then all of a sudden in 74 you're wearing a disco outfit, like it looks
yeah.
Or when all the metal bands from the 80s, all of a sudden the early 90s, they all became grunge bands. Like, hey, weren't you 2 years ago you had lipstick on? Now all of a sudden you're flannel and
you
Converse.
Got flannel on.
The ones that made it, they stayed looking like they always looked.
Right.
To me. Like
it all also actually comes down to the music. Like if you were to like,
it's all about the song at the end of the day, right?
It's all about the vibe and the song at the end of the day. So if you look at Beck, he does the suit, he does the t-shirt and jeans, he does the flannel, he does the big hat that everybody. He wore the big hat.
But he's Beck. He does whatever he wants to do. Beck, and that's the vibe
on each album he does.
But the vibe he puts off is like, I wear what I want. I do what I want. I make music that I want. But if, you're very much like, Judas Priest has maintained for 50 years because ever since when they put on the biker leather and basically all the stuff from the gay S&M shops, when they put all that on, they just embraced it. When grunge came along, they were still wearing that shit, right?
When did that come? When did that be gay S&M, all the biker shit?
When Rob Halford started it, he went to a gay S&M shop because he was obviously gay back in the 70s.
No. Like I'm saying, was it gay in the beginning?
No, everybody thought like Judas Priest was like the model of masculinity, and like leather and chains and spikes were tough. Nobody knew that
shit is tough.
Yeah, but nobody knew that it was coming from a gay S&M shop until 1998. But my point is.
Oh, by the way, happy Pride Month.
Go for it. That My point is, he wore that. He wore that all the time. Like when trends changed, when it became glam metal, he stayed with black leather, right, and biker and spikes. You follow what I'm saying?
Because he was gay.
No,
he was gay, right?
You're missing this whole. You keep missing.
Rob Halford's gay, right?
Yeah, he's gay, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Pride Month, but I'm not.
So what?
Yeah, I'm saying the reason they maintained dominance and stayed because they stayed who they were through every trend.
He was a dominatrix.
Yes, and he stayed a dominatrix. No matter what the trends in music were, they still came out. When it was 1997 and nobody's
they were
coming
awesome.
And nobody's coming out in 1997 in stud leather, right? And biker leather and chaps, but Judas Priest still was. And they kept doing it until it became cool again.
That was their deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're a total poser if you like.
Yeah,
it's one.
You
It's
can be
one.
swayed too
It's
easy.
one thing to like be okay. So let's say you're blessed with a band that's around for 30 years, right?
Yeah.
It's one thing to like start off like Metallica. You're in like black jeans, black shirt, playing, and then like you're saying, and then you just you stay with that your entire time. Then when you hit like a certain thing, you don't accidentally like, oh, maybe we should wear real shiny shirts and globes around our neck.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, but Metallica did do this. They did do this. They did. They cut their hair and they went.
Metrosexual in
They got
96,
metrosexual and they did. They really did. It was a little earlier than that with Load and Reload.
96
What was Load and Reload?
Load. 97
Load and Reload. Not
Terrible.
bad albums.
I didn't like them.
You didn't like them?
No.
If you go back and listen to like the song structure and like the writing, it's not terrible. It's not Metallica.
I always say this about certain bands. You know, Metallica's one of the bands I say, but when people are like shitting on Metallica and on the internet,
I fucking love
or
Metallica.
when people are like,
I don't care.
When people are shitting on like, say Black Sabbath, Never Say Die, so that's the worst album they ever made, and I'm like, hey, well or Load's the worst album.
Load is. It's good. I dig the style they were going through. You got, if you're a music fan and you're a fan of a band, you don't want them to write "Smells Like Teen Spirit" every time, right?
Here's my overarching. I'll say like this. I'll say I agree. Never Say Die is Sabbath's worst album with Ozzy, but with that being and Load is Metallica's worst album. But with that being said, those albums, if any other band wrote them, y'all would all say they were masterpieces.
Right.
If any other band on earth took their worst album and made it and put it out as an independent album, hey, this is a standalone project called Never Say Die, you would listen to that shit and go, holy fuck, that's mind-blowing. That's so good. But because it's Sabbath or because it's Metallica and you're like, it's not as good as these other ones, but it's not garbage. It's just by their standards, not as good. Does that make sense?
It does.
And that you have to be.
Okay, look, listen to this. Okay, so Metallica. What was that album?
Load.
Some Kind of Monster.
Some Kind of Monster.
That was not great.
But it would still be great by other band standards. I maintain that.
Yeah.
That gets released by 4 kids out of Ohio. Release that album, and it somehow gets enough traction to get a little bit viral.
Okay.
The whole world would be like, these kids are fucking badass. This shit's incredible. This is just fucking great. Everybody be saying that because it'd be like a new, fresh sound. Like, man, you could hear the rawness of them. You can hear how it's.
You can hear that.
You can hear the cymbal.
I really like the way that he used the snare to just sound terrible.
Listen to those fills, right? Like
the snare
those fills are so off rhythm.
Awful.
They're so off rhythm that like it's cool. If it was another band, but because it's an iconic band, they can't. If they had, it's a bad album by their standards. Like,
after that, Metallica actually ripped out some really great albums after that.
Oh, Death Magnetic is awesome.
God, Death Magnetic was
right now is really good.
72 Seasons is great.
The first 4 albums belong to the Smithsonian.
Right.
I mean, they're just like.
Oh my God. No, I see. I think, and you're gonna hate this. I think the Black Album's a masterpiece. I just think it's a masterpiece.
At this point, I have to agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were just mad. You were just mad when it happened.
I lost my band. Like what was personal to me became so mainstream, and all these what I call like regular people, all these like regular people, all of a sudden like, and I'm just like, oh.
God,
gross.
the Black Album has every
total.
Song on it. I think I can say this. Every song on it is great.
Of Wolf and Man's really
of
good.
Wolf and Man. I just remember
the God that failed.
No, the God. Listen, I had.
I love it. I respect the shit out of it now.
I was still in Virginia, riding the bus to school in the beginning of the 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
listening to this secretly because everybody would kill me if I was listening to it.
Yeah.
And just listening, and I probably had like an hour and a half bus ride.
One way?
Yeah, one way.
That's
one
like
way.
me from being bullshit.
It was a long bus ride. We had to go up a little bit of a mountain and back down and then to school. And I was the second person that got picked up in the morning.
Yeah,
I would get up at probably 6 a.m., leave at 6:30, ride my motorcycle. I'm 11,
Your
10,
dirt
11.
bike, yeah.
I ride my dirt bike to a barn.
And they pick you up.
This is the Shenandoah Valley. It's outside of D.C., but it's farmland.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm probably I'm probably 50 minutes from the middle of D.C., but it's still farmland. Shenandoah Valley, breadbasket of the South. Anyway, so great place to grow up. I have stood on the front porch of George Washington's estate looking at the James Madison River when I was 10.
Pretty cool.
You know, the cool thing about living there was all of the school field trips you got to take were all the shit that started our country.
Right, yeah.
It was awesome.
Pretty awesome, yeah.
It was awesome. Like, you got Jamestown, you got all these places, they're all an hour away.
Yeah, so
everything's an hour away.
Right, everything, yeah.
You know, so, but anyway, I digress.
So you were listening to the Metallica
So I was listening to the Metallica album. And the Black Album.
That was probably your first intro to Metallica,
and it was
right?
my first intro to Metallica.
See,
I never heard anything. I never heard anything before that.
By then, so
I never heard anything before that, and I'm like, God, this shit is awesome.
It is that, right?
And like Enter Sandman, Of Wolf and Man, The God That Failed, all the shit. The God That Failed.
True.
Sad but True. So like all that shit, I'm listening to that, and it's just amazing. And then I realized that there's this whole other Metallica band before that.
I could see that being mind blowing if I'd never, I'm listening to Metallica when the Black Album comes out. Okay, so I'm listening to Metallica for 4 or 5 years, 6 or 7 hours a day. And all I listened to in 1988, 89 was Appetite for Destruction, Black Sabbath, Live at Last, and the 4 Metallica albums. That's it. Somehow. You couldn't have had that many albums. It wasn't like now, right? You just had the tapes you had. But all my other shit started, like Cinderella got shelved, which I still like Cinderella. They're still a really good band. But Appetite for Destruction got a lot of play. This is 88, because 88, 89. So by the time the Black Album, man, I'm not shit. I probably listened to 16,000 hours of Metallica. And I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. I'm getting every metal magazine, every one that comes out. I read every page from 87 to 91. I get every metal magazine that comes out. I read every single page, every interview, every guitar player, every tour. Shit, I'm living in Bienville Parish in 5th grade, right? I'm just obsessed with this shit, still obsessed with it. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm looking forward to this Bob Rock. I remember sitting down in Brookshire's. I couldn't have money for a magazine, or my mom wasn't going to buy me one or whatever, but at this point, I guess I'm 14, but I remember I'm sitting down in the magazine aisle while my mom shops, and I'm reading about the new Metallica album and this guy Bob Rock, and I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know what producers are, right? I don't even know what a producer does. I'm 14 or 13, so anyway, I see it says he did Bon Jovi's and
Slippery When Wet.
Yeah, he did a Bon Jovi album and a Def Leppard album, I think it was, and I was like,
Hysteria.
I think, but I was like,
probably,
but whatever it was, I just remember
Bob Rock rocks.
I just remember my little heart sinking though. I remember thinking, being like, what's happening? Why would somebody like that be doing my I am beside myself. Why would somebody that does that contrive that pop shit, why would they be messing with somebody that wrote Kill 'Em All and Ride the I remember reading
Didn't Bob Rock play bass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember thinking this doesn't sound good. But I was like, but maybe it won't be what I think it's going to be. And I already had an idea that it was going to be a commercial release. And when it was a commercial release, just the devastation, Mike, the devastation that came over me. I've not experienced anything like that concerning a celebrity ever. But if I would have heard that, if that would have been the first time I heard Metallica and I heard the Black Album, I would have probably loved it, right? Like everyone else.
Bob Rock played on Saint Anger.
Yeah, he
with
played on.
Metallica.
So he played. He didn't play on the Black Album.
So
But anyway,
I'm Bob Rock.
When I saw that Bon Jovi and you got it. Are you understanding what I'm saying? We weren't down with like somebody that was producing Bon Jovi.
Right. To
It'd been
do
the same thing if I was
Metallica.
reading about if I was
To do
reading,
Metallica.
if I was reading an article on Overkill and it said Overkill's got a new guy and he just did Milli Vanilli's album, I'd be like, what? That's that. It was that kind of feeling, and so that's when I got it. I was like, this better be heavy. This better be heavy, you know, because I'm. And it wasn't like the heavy I wanted. But now as an adult, I love it.
Did I talk last time
Did you talk last time? What?
about the guy who's written like every song on the planet for the past 30 years?
I don't remember.
Hold on one second. God, I really wish I was more prepared for these things. I'm not prepared. I wish I was more prepared.
What do you look at?
Hey, babe, do you remember the guy's name that wrote all the music for like everyone? Like, what? Who? No. This guy's like, you got to look up. He wrote like Taylor Swift.
Is it like Scooter Braun or whatever?
No. He's written like
Max Martin.
Max
No,
Martin.
Martin.
Max Martin.
That's who you're thinking about. Is Max Martin, right? I know
Max
about
Martin.
Max Martin.
Who is this guy? This guy's written
Yeah, Max Martin's
every song you've listened to with everyone.
for the normies.
For the normies.
Yeah.
For the normies.
Yeah.
And
I felt like Bob Rock did an album for the normies back then.
this is Max Martin. But
Yeah,
he's written
he's brilliant.
like if you just look at
For what he
like
is.
yeah, it's
He's
crazy.
Great.
You just have to look it up. Well, maybe
It's hundreds and hundreds of songs.
It's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs that he's written. He's written with Taylor Swift. He's written with everybody.
Adele, probably
Everybody.
whoever. Justin
Everybody.
Bieber,
Everybody.
all
All of them.
all those
Everybody
cats.
that you ever listened to that was like pop music, he's written the song or helped them write the song.
So Bob
Help them write.
Bob
the song.
Rock, everybody he ever worked with switched for being like he switched them to pop because he got them more mainstream. That was kind of his deal, and that was and obviously there had to be something in that article that was like telling me that, or I might not have been able to deduce all of that out of there. But
Well, my favorite producer is Rick Rubin.
it's not yourself.
No, I mean, am I my favorite producer?
Yeah,
No, I hate myself.
Dude,
I love Rick Rubin.
I saw this video. I'm just gonna tell you this quick story. There was this video that was about producers,
Yeah.
and obviously it was made by a producer, and it was like, what the artist sends, and the artist was, and the artist. So they were talking, so because it's a video, and the artist was like, "Hey, thanks so much for all your hard work. Everything sounds great. I think we could just open it up one little bit in the middle. If you don't mind, I would really, really appreciate that. Thanks so much." And he's like, "What we hear? Hey, motherfucker, I guess you've never heard music before. You're too goddamn stupid to know what you're doing." And I'm like, it's great. I was like, yeah, that's it.
Well, this is what I did. Like when I was recording them the other day, I had to come out and be just like, cause your son's like knows that I'm gonna like say like, okay, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like you gotta do that. But the drummer, I just like, I told him a couple things, and then like kind of saw like a look in his eye that I would have had when I was 20. And I went to the bathroom. I came back out, and I had like this whole time. I was like, "Hey, man," I was like, "Hey, listen. If you don't like what I'm saying, then tell me to shut the fuck up, and you can do it however you want to do it. But I'm just telling you, I've been writing and recording music since I was 15 years old, and when I hear something that doesn't sound good."
Yeah.
Because things sound good and they sound bad. Sometimes things are bad.
And that's what a producer should do. A good producer to me should be able to
But I
provide
want
feedback.
you
the
to
artist
do,
is ultimately going to make
but
the
I
decision.
want you to do your artistic thing on it. But if it is just bad, then I'm going to tell you.
It's objectively
so
bad, yeah.
if you have a problem with that, then tell me to shut the fuck up and you do whatever you want. I'll hit the record button and it'll be what it is.
That'll be that, yeah.
And he was like, "Oh no, and let me know like if it's blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay," because like I kind of told you something a little bit ago, and he kind of gave me an eyeball. And I was like, I'm gonna have to have the talk with you about being, because like when we had a producer, like when we were recording stuff, like our producer was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna tell you some stuff, and if you get mad at me, you're gonna get mad at me." But
That's the way it
like,
should
just,
be.
If I just want you to do what I tell you to do, just to hear it, and let's just hear it.
Yeah, so you could hear both.
And then we went with everything that was like, oh, let's just hear it. And then we just went with everything because he was right.
Yeah.
Because he's been doing it. Doesn't matter. It's like, this old motherfucker doesn't know anything about my music. No, motherfucker, that music's music. And if it sounds good or if you're being artistic, if somebody that knows what they're talking about knows if it's being artistic or if it's just fucking bad.
Or if you could say like, hey, if you say like, hey, I know that's bad. I'm trying to do it bad on purpose. That's exactly what I want for that piece. Okay, it's your deal.
You got if you want it to be bad to make a statement, fine, but I don't think that's the music you're playing.
Yeah, right.
Like if you're playing punk music and at the end of it you want to go completely off beat, you're fine.
Yeah.
But that's not what you're doing. You're trying to do something. So let me just tell you, I don't like it, and if you want to change it, let's change it.
I like the changes y'all must have made because it sounded really good.
We're gonna listen to it here in a minute because I got it sounding really good.
Oh, even better than what I heard?
Yeah. Oh fuck. Dude.
Well, I heard it right the same day, the day y'all finished it.
No, I've done a bunch
really
of other stuff to it.
Well, shit. We'll sign off and we'll just. I want to hear it and then because I got to head out and I got to get up early in the morning. So
early in the morning? Why?
Work.
Oh, work, that thing we do. Peace.
Peace. Love y'all. Yeah, let me hear it. I feel like that's close to an hour, probably.
It was exactly an hour and 10 minutes.
10 days. We're pretty good at feeling when an hour is. Close enough.